that Armin? Is that Armin right there? I don't know.
Hello,
like,
GoPro.
Hi, GoPro. Can you give us the exclusives on Embrace? You haven't talked anything about the new album. We don't know, how many tracks are going to be there. What are the collaboration? You also released Off the Hook, collaborating with Hardwell. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
There'll be 15 tracks on the album. The album will be released worldwide on all the portals October 29th. That's also the date for the physical release. So that's the big D-Day. And it feels really good because it's been a project that I've been working on basically non-stop since I finished working on Intense. It's my 6th studio album. The first single is called Another You with Mr. Props, who you may know from Waves.
I'm not saying I'm not sorry. Just looking for another you.
And a couple of other tracks. And it was a really big challenge to work with him because he's such a perfectionist. But we pulled it off and the single's doing really well, I'm happy to say. So yeah, that was super exciting. One of the things that I really learned with Embrace is that working with all these different people, I learned so much about, production, songwriting. I mean, I've been making records for 20 years. The mission for this album, the idea that I had, you can see that on the cover as well, is that I wanted to embrace possibilities, different sounds, different cultures, different opinions, and see where that takes me. Because for me, making music is a creative process, but I found out that I can't really do the same thing twice. What I mean by that is that, for example, I had a big success with This Is What It Feels Like, and everybody was looking at me, think, how's he going to make a follow-up for that track? Well, the best way to make a follow-up now for me is not try to make a follow-up. Just have fun in the studio. So that was the main goal. Embrace different opportunities, different sounds. If you look at the cover made by Anton Corbin, he's a famous photographer who was also responsible for all the U2 and Depeche Mode covers. He's a movie director right now. So I'm super stoked that I was able to work with him because he's a legend. He's one of the most well-respected photographers around the world.
It's a different cover from the rest of your covers.
Yes.
It has you in a car and, the instruments. The album art itself, it can give us a little bit of hints in the album because there are so many instruments.
What's up, tomorrow?
All the instruments that are on the car you can actually hear as solo. One of the secrets I'll reveal is that the opening track is called Embrace. And for this particular track, I worked together with a trumpet player who comes from the world of jazz.
Wow.
I met him
completely different from Trance.
Yeah. I met him at a concert where I was invited, and I heard his sound, but I didn't see him playing because I was sitting upstairs on the balcony, and he walked underneath through the crowd, but I couldn't see him, and I heard his sound. I was like, this is an amazing sound. It sounds like a flute. But it wasn't a flute, it was a trumpet. And apparently he's one of the few people who can actually make a trumpet sound like a flute. And I found that a very interesting sound, because I love the sound of wind instruments, and you don't really hear them often in trance productions. So this is one of the things that I wanted to do with Embrace. The ambition was to create an energetic, uplifting trance track that has a solo trumpet. Because I have so much music, there's a lot of tracks that didn't make the album. Finally, because simply they didn't make the sequence, or it wasn't telling the story, it wasn't adding anything, or a couple of tracks are still on the shelf that I might be using for different projects or for a 7th artist album. I don't know. It's been a very interesting project. Let's put it that way.
Your single with Hardwell, Off the Hook. So how did this collaboration happen? The #1 DJ with the #2 DJ together on one track. How did this project started happening?
Well, Hartwell has his label Revealed Recordings, and that's being handled by Cloud9 Music. And Cloud9 Music is a company that I'm also involved in, so it's basically the same family. I see a lot of controversy about EDM right now, about stuff that's happening online. Some people love it, some people hate it.
I love it. I personally love it.
But I think, you know, my mission is to embrace. This is the message from that I want to bring with the album. I want to, instead of, you know, sticking to my safe sound, and I want to, you know, venture out and try new things. And that's the idea behind Embrace, without losing my own sound, of course. So I think in the track Off the Hook, you can clearly hear my sound, the more trancey breakdown that's there. So it definitely has an Armin stamp, and I'm super excited about the track because it's really he has a really different sound, and I'm not going to be the next Hardwell. I mean, I'm still Armin van Buuren. I have my own sound, but it was very interesting to try and collaborate. The mission behind this album was, I told myself I want to work with people that I find inspiring, that are hardworking, that I can learn something from. And working with Hardwell and just seeing how he was in the studio, and he's not only a really talented DJ, he's also a really good producer, has very clear ideas about his sound and how he wants it to sound, but has a lot of respect for other people and the way that they think. So the track was actually done in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
And I went there a third day to do some final stuff, and we talked about the radio edit and all that sort of stuff.
And these collaborations, I mean, I find it hard to believe that you have the time to, start working on an album, start, doing collaborations, but also at the same time, how do you pick your collaborators?
It's sort of, it just happens, really. You meet somebody, you say, hey, let's do a track together, you send each other a text message or an email, and then, you try to find a date, you sit in the studio together. I mean, honestly, half of the collaborations that I tried to set up didn't work out, simply because the artist didn't want to, there was no time, or had other priorities. One of the collaborations I'm really proud is actually not on Embrace. It's with Jean-Michel Jarre, the synthesizer legend, for his album. He approached me and he said, I want to do a track with you for my next album. I remember I was a little kid going through my dad's record collection, seeing these humongous covers of Jean-Michel Jarre. So, the day that I could tell my dad that I was actually working with the legend himself was unbelievable. So we created a track together that I'm really proud of, called Stardust. Has more of my older trancing melodies, my older sound, and it was so much fun to do as well. So this is what I want to show you. In 1 year, working with Jean-Michel Jarre, working with Hardwell, working with Mr. Probs, working with a jazz trumpet. I mean, that's fun. That you go into the studio and you're like, wow, it's not just, another singer or another celebrity who wants to work with you. No, it's about, you go into the studio, you try and do different things, and you try different sounds, and you go out of your comfort zone a little bit, and that challenges me. I mean, I'm so inspired right now. I could easily, if you put me in the studio right now, in a year from now, I'll have another album. I have so many ideas, and that's because I'm having so much fun in the studio right now.
Well, then, since you're talking about spending 1 year in a studio, tell us about your plans now. Your residency, you have a bunch of residency during the summer, and, you have a State of Trance, you are touring a State of Trance now. Tell us this first bit, because I want to also know, when are you going to start touring Armin Only?
We haven't decided yet if there will be another Armin Only tour. That's the honest answer. We're investigating the possibilities. The thing is that the artists that I'm working with on this album have their own diaries as well, and you want them to be on stage with you. But the collaborations on the album are a little bit more ambitious than the Intense album. So we're trying to get everybody together, and I'm very afraid to repeat myself. The Intense tour was probably my best tour I've done so far. It was the most expensive one, but also the most successful one. 35 sold-out shows around the world. I'm really proud of everything, and I'm sad that it's over, because we were really proud of the show. And I don't think, I really want to top that show, but it's going to be so difficult. So I'm going to do it in a completely different way again. It's going to be a whole different another show.
Only 02? Part 2 version?
I don't know. We'll see. We're still thinking about it. The first priority was finish the album, get that done, get the singles out, work on the videos. To answer your other question, I just finished my residency in Ushuaia in Ibiza, second year. It was really great. We had the DJ booth in the pool this time.
Yeah, I saw that. That was really cool.
Yeah, we just released an album dedicated to my sets in Ushuaia. That's also on all the portals. So if people want to check out the sound of those sets, so that's doing really well. Also did a remix for Faithless. So much stuff going on. And my residency in Omnia, of course.
We can cover all of them, right?
My residency at Omnia in Las Vegas. That's going really well. Yeah, I mean, I remember when I first came to Vegas, to be honest with you, the crowd was a little bit more into other music styles than my style.
It's Vegas.
But now it's completely transformed. I mean, I can really play whatever I want to play. I mean, my sets in Omnia are not very different from sets that I would play in New York or Washington or Miami or Amsterdam.
Are you monitoring any specific artists on the field right now?
All the time. I love Spotify. I mean, I'm probably the biggest fan because, you know, through Spotify you have this humongous library of current and older music, and you can just breeze through so many different tracks and great ideas. And yeah, there's a lot of artists that I follow. I listen to everything, really, everything and any. I mean, not everything is just as appealing, but I think you can learn something from every artist or every little piece of music, and that's where the inspiration comes from as well. But I know that I'm Armin van Buuren, I have my own sound, I have my own ideas, and that's what I focus on.
And I want to know, like, do you think there's any room left for any more DJs to come out?
Oh, absolutely. I think
mean,
we need more DJs. In fact, we need more headliners. They're not, this is what promoters tell me, they're not enough headliners because there's so many festivals right now. It's crazy. I mean, this week alone, I think we have Tomorrow World here in America, then we have Ultra in Asia. There's so much going on. It's insane. And I want to stress to all the young people out there that are watching and that are looking for ideas, I always say, like, look at other DJs, see why their sets are good, but try to have your own sound. Try to invent, you know, dig into yourself and see who you are and you know, kind of bring something new to the table, because if you're just copy another DJ, then you'll just be a copy. So you got to find your own identity before you go out there.
I'm pretty sure this comes out a lot that, you know, you finished a law degree and you've been making music ever since you were 14 years old.
Yes.
Is today Armin van Buuren what he wished to be without pursuing law?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, music has always been my passion. I just never thought that I would be sitting here on a couch with you talking about, you know, a long career. I mean, it's just something that I never dreamed that was possible. As a little kid, yeah, I mean, I've always been into music very much. I've been in technology. I'm a little bit of a nerd as well.
What kept you going since 14 years old? What kept you going?
Passion for music. Honestly, I mean, it's still like that. I mean, just between me and you, the Armin Only tour wasn't a financial success because it was a very expensive show to tour with, even though the venues were sold out. But we brought 35 people on the road, and they all want a fee, they all want a hotel room, they all, you know, need plane tickets. So it was an expensive show to put on, but that's not the main thing. It's all about, at the end of the day, what do you want to deliver as an artist? What do you want to bring? What do you want to tell? And it's so, I mean, the thrill that you get of an idea. I mean, I had the idea for ping pong, for example. I mean, everything in dance music right now is so serious. I wanted to add a little bit of a fun element. I mean, it's a little bit of an ironic track. I did it in 4 hours. Ping pong was just, you know, silly, but I didn't even want to release it initially. But it's so great that with all my tracks, they're all my babies, and you see a crowd going crazy to an idea that you had in your head, and they go, and that gives the biggest kick. And that's not about, you know, how many Grammy nominations you have or how many times you won DJ Mag or whatever. It's not about that. It's at that point you're just trying to rock the crowd. You're trying to interact with people, and it's so beautiful. I mean, to feel that connection with the crowd, seeing all those people having the best time of their lives. They're in an office during the week, and they dress up and they go out and you get to be the guy that gets to entertain them. That is so beautiful. I mean, from all the things that I'm doing in my career, you know, jet lags, airports, waiting, taxes, everything, from all the things that I do in my career, that is the only thing that I'm still not bored with. You know, it's a thrill. I mean, why are the Rolling Stones still playing when they're 70 years old? It's because you can never get enough of that kick, of the love of the crowd. I mean, it's an addiction for sure.
How does it feel to have that power of influence over people?
I don't believe in power. I don't believe in the sentence "God is a DJ." I think I'm not a god. I could easily be the clubber. I'm just a guy pushing the buttons, but in fact, I'm standing on a dance floor with them. And that's what I say with embrace as well. You know, I wish I could embrace every single person in the crowd, because it's just, I think if there would be a heaven on earth, a dance floor, when it's completely packed, that's probably the closest thing you can get to heaven on earth. Because look at this. Everybody's having an amazing time, most of the people. Everybody's in a really good mood because they want to go out and party, and everybody's positive. They're dressed up, they're young, and everybody looks great. And so I can't think of a better place.
Let's talk about commercial music. I mean, you talked that what it feels like, this is what it feels like, took you a year to finish. And that's, I could tell you, that's pretty commercial. I mean, people look at it as a commercial song, which it is. I mean, you can hear it on all the radios. You don't see radios usually, you know, pop radios playing a trance song or a state of trance, but they're playing This Is What It Feels Like by Armin van Buuren. And do you think that it's necessary nowadays to make commercial music?
No.
From a trance perspective?
That would mean that we would sit in the office and sort of make this gigantic plan to make a commercial track. This Is What It Feels Like just happened. It seriously happened. And when I finished it, of course, the first thing that was going through my mind, ooh, what if this track is a big success and it gets a hit? Everybody's going to think it's commercial, and I did it because it was commercial. But it was not. This Is What It Feels Like. I'm just as proud of that song as Communication or Sail or Serenity or any of my older or newer tracks. I mean, it's just one of my songs that I'm really proud of. And the fact that it was commercial is just because apparently a lot of people like it. I don't see a problem with that, you know. I'm not in music to be commercial or to be non-commercial. I'm in music because I'm having a great time making music, entertaining people, and, you know, being who I am. I'm not going in the studio in the morning thinking like, oh, how can I make another Billboard hit song? Or no, that's not what you do. You sit in the studio, you vibe. Mr. Props came over. We have a cup of coffee. He had a small idea for a chorus. I worked on some melodies. We put everything together. We went to a studio, recorded some real strings. Hey, this song is really... And then you're not thinking like, oh, this is going to be the follow-up over hit or da-da-da-da-da. It just doesn't work that way.
What do you say to the people who say, oh, Armin changed his, you know, changed his way. He's going into, you know, he's going into commercial. You know, he's not doing pure trance anymore. What do you say to these people?
What is pure trance? Who decides what is pure trance? I mean, it's like almost, you know, some people are so desperate that they want to hold on to something that was great in the past, and that's great. I mean, I love it too. All my songs, I'm proud of all my songs and everything that I've done. But I'm not going to defend myself for my choices that I make. You can either like me or not like me. It's fine. You know, I'm just Armin van Buuren. This is who I am, and this is my sound. I don't want to walk into a safety zone where I'm just, you know, doing the same thing I've been doing for 20 years. And this may, you know, maybe a little bit of a disappointment for some of my older fans, which I can totally understand. And I'm never going to blame them or say you have to like this or not. No, music goes on. So I want to try and do different things. And pretty soon I'll be doing a really underground track again with a very obnoxious, I don't know, a very strange artist, you know. So I'm just, you know, I'm not defending. I'm just saying, like, this is who I am. And
you always look for something new.
Yeah, I think that's the mission that I have as an artist. I want to move forward.
I saw in one of your documentaries, I saw that, you know, when you were #1 4 years in a row in 2011, you kind of were bummed about it that, you know, I wasn't #1. David Guetta, you were guessing that David Guetta would get it in 2011. But I also saw backstage that you met David Guetta when you presented him. Yeah. And he told you, I know you will get it back next year, which you did. Yeah. Which you did the next year. What are your expectations about 2015? You have so many great tracks out there. Embrace coming out.
I don't know. I mean, I guess for me, winning DJ Mag is less of a priority. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Of course, it would be great to be #1 again. I mean, that would be fantastic. But I think it's time for a new generation to have that. I mean, if I win it a 6th time, it's not really going to add anything for me, I guess. I guess my priorities are different. And I think it would be good if we have another new #1 DJ. I mean, I think that's good. We have to focus on the new and the young and new talent that is coming up and the younger generation. And there's so much happening in the world of dance music right now, and I think it's super exciting. Imagine if we were in the 60s, right? And imagine we would have a DJ Mag chart for the bands. Then we would have like the Beatles #1, Rolling Stones #2, Pink Floyd #3. That's just silly. Why can't you just be a unique artist? And that's my whole problem with DJ Mag. Your sound and your name becomes a number. Because at the end of the day, if you sell out an arena and you're not in DJ Mag, then you sell out the arena and then you are the #1 DJ in that arena at that point. So it's hard, it's hard. I find it a very controversial topic.
I want to ask you about your health. Seriously, how do you maintain healthy? Like, you're playing a show every day. You were in Boston yesterday. You're in DC today. You're in Vegas tomorrow. On the weekend, you're in Tomorrow World. How? I don't understand. Do you work out? Do you need a workout?
Yeah. I work out. I work out at least three times a week. My wife is an aerobic instructor, so that helps. And when I'm at home, I eat nothing but healthy. I try to, my only problem is sometimes I drink a glass of wine too many, but that's the only thing. I don't do drugs. I never smoked a cigarette in my life, and I'm extremely passionate. I get so much energy from the work that I do. I was just telling you about the album and making new music and how that inspires me. Yeah, and I guess it gives me life energy. This is what I want to do. This is who I am. I am this job, I grew to love it so much, and I really can't stop. I mean, I know I can if I want to and do something completely different, but I mean, I told you about the Rolling...
Will there ever be a day where Armin stops music and starts...
It could be.
Law.
Not law. I don't think I'll ever be in law, to be honest. Well, having said that, a few weeks ago, I was at the European Commission's office in Brussels to talk about copyright, the future of copyright, and I spoke with a High Commission member, the vice president, actually, of the European Commission, to talk about the agenda for the role of copyright in the future. And I know a lot about it because that's what I used to study. So it's good to know, have a little bit of knowledge. But don't ask me to defend your case, because I would probably be the worst lawyer in the planet right now.
I just committed a murder
a couple of days ago, so that's why I'm pushing on the law thing, because I really need a lawyer. I thought, you would sell it out for me. Armin van Buuren representing Saba.
Yes.
But, let's go back to you've never done drugs. You being healthy all the time.
You can test my hair if you want to.
What do you tell those people who think that, EDM and trance and house, these are all music that promotes drugs, that promotes people to be unhealthy?
No, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of history repeating, because that's what they used to say when the Beatles were popular and Flower Power happened and we had Woodstock, It's nothing but kids that were on drugs and doing weird stuff. And, I think there's something wrong in the way that people think that. I mean, if people want to do drugs, they're going to do drugs anyway, right? But this is just because it's an enormous crowd that gathers, and if something goes wrong at an event, the event gets the blame. Whereas if these people would have been home in their own houses, then it would just be a really small piece in the newspaper saying, oh, 2 people died because of drug misuse. But it's a very sad thing that it's sort of putting this stamp on the success of dance music, because there's a lot of people there that don't care about drugs, they're absolutely for the music and that want to have a great time. And there's always these few exceptions, I call them idiots, if you excuse me, that ruin it for everybody else. But for some reason, dance music has this stigma, which I think is not completely fair. I mean, it's not up to dance music. I mean, I'm completely anti-drugs. I would never ever support anybody who would take drugs in front of me. I would say, are you kidding me? I really hope that people don't see this industry as just, young kids using drugs on a big event. It's on the contrary. There's so many great stuff happening right now in dance music, and it totally takes the focus away from all the good that's happening.
I want to to go to your family. How often do you get to see them with your crazy schedule?
A lot, actually. I'm very
How?
lucky. Well, we plan it very carefully. First of all, I don't DJ as much as I used to, which also gives me more time to produce. Hence the new artist album in 2 years. Another thing that we're doing right now is that I always take the first flight available home. I fly a lot private because I want to be with my family. And this summer in Ibiza, I rented a villa for a month, and I took my family to Ibiza, so they had a holiday. And I went to my gig in Ushuaia on Thursday. So I put my kids to bed. I went to Ushuaia, came back, slept 8 hours, woke up 8 in the morning, got my kids out of bed. So they didn't even notice I was gone.
I just want to make a very special announcement. I just came straight from the hospital, and I want the world to welcome, my wife just gave birth to a son. So I'd like to dedicate my whole set to my new son.
So, you know, you have to be clever about it. You have to be, I mean, in all honesty, I do miss some of the things of their upbringing, which makes me sad because they're both two gorgeous creatures, and we're very lucky with Fenna and Remy. They're doing really well. Fenna just went to school for the first time. She's 4 years old, and she's growing, and she's already my little girl, you know. It goes so incredibly fast. I mean, I remember the day of yesterday that we brought her into the house, and now she's this beautiful person, 4 years old, and, you know, comes to cuddle with me when I'm in the studio, so. But again, I guess I'm addicted to my family and to music, so it's just finding the balance in life. But I think I'm not the only one. I think a lot of the people watching right now, they're also having problems with balancing between friends, sport, job, kids, you know, it's always, you know. And I think for me, it's no different. I'm just the same. It's just, I'm really blessed with a great wife.
I can't let you go without asking you about Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Do you watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Is Jon Snow still alive?
Well, I think he was stabbed pretty much like 20, 40, 30 times. So no, I don't think he's alive.
No?
Why would he be alive when you're stabbed like 30, 40 times?
Well, it's Game of Thrones, you know, people die and come back to life, so.
Really? Who did that? The dragons, maybe.
The dragons? There was one actually. Well, a lot of people say now there's the witch that got back to Castle Black.
Oh yeah, she's Dutch actually. You know that?
Oh, is she the actress?
She was actually born really close to my home.
Oh wow.
Carice van Houten is her name.
So maybe you can give her a call.
Yeah, she probably knows this 6th season.
Exactly. Tell her, is he alive?
Yeah.
And let me know. Would you?
Yeah, I think it's the end of Jon Snow.
Armin, thank you so much. This has been really amazing experience. I was 10 years old when I first heard your music in my brother's car. I grew up listening to trance and EDM, and, you know, you became my #1 DJ. I thank you so much for your time. I thank you for your music. I thank you for the 20 years that you have given to all of the audience around the world.
This may shock you a little bit, but I'm not making music just for my fans. I'm making music for myself as well. I'm having so much fun doing so. And I'm blessed with a great group of people around me, and even better, with the best fans in the world, like yourself. I mean, I would be nowhere without my fans. I would not be sitting here. I wouldn't be without everybody that's been supporting me for so many years. So it's very sweet words that you say, but I absolutely want to return the favor and say, like, look, I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for my fans, so thank you.
Are you ready to jump with me tomorrow, Rob? Make some noise! This is what it feels like. My face above the water. My feet can't touch the ground, and it feels like
Without you, there would be no tomorrow, Rolf. Thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye.
you are